Yeah, this is a tale, oh yeah, a tale of two hygienists. So there might be only one, bringing the best of dental knowledge, and we do it all with ease. We cover oral health and screening, and preventing gum disease. We're gonna do a lot of learning, and have a little bit of fun working at the dentist. A tale of two hygienists.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists podcast. I am your host, Andrew Johnston, and I just wanted to get on today and say happy holidays. I also wanted to give you a heads up for what's around the corner in the new year. But before we kind of get into that, like, holy crap, what a crazy week this has been with the weather, right? I saw a meme earlier today said, congratulations, Florida, for finally participating in winter, which is hilarious. And I was thinking, we've had it really good since we moved down here as far as weather goes. But the last several days, we've had 29-degree weather here, and we're just a little bit north of Tampa. I know all of the news outlets have been making fun of iguanas falling out of trees in Miami and things like that, which, I mean, it really does happen. But it's just interesting that it finally hit Florida. So I hope that all of you were able to celebrate the holidays as you had planned, and that, the weather didn't really affect your travels. But I also hope that you're taking this time. I know a lot of you are still working in between the holidays, but that you're gearing up for the next new year. And I wanted to maybe share right now a few of my tentative plans for the next new year. So let's start off with some of the conferences I'll be attending. So the first conference is the Voices of Dentistry, and that is in January of 2023. It's January 20th and 21st. Scottsdale is a lovely place to be in January. For those of you, especially in the northern states, it does get a little bit chilly, but it's still sunshiny and happy. And if you are someone who likes to listen to a lot of dental podcasts and you want to meet some of your hosts, or maybe you're looking to get exposure, maybe you want to be on some of the podcasts that you listen to, this is the perfect conference for you. You could go there. You could try and set up a meeting with some of the people to record. It's always a good idea to, ahead of time, just send some talking points and say, hey, if your audience is interested in this is what I speak on, or this is what I want to share. And most of us go there with the intent that we're going to do some interviews and do some recording, but a lot of times they already have their schedule set. So even if they don't, they may be going down there and putting a name to a face for them so that they can have you on and record remotely with you. I think that's a great idea. So after that, the following week is Yankee. I will not be attending Yankee. There's a conflict on my schedule, but it's supposed to be really good. I know a lot of people are going to that one, a lot of really good speakers. But the next one I will be going to will be Chicago Midwinter in February. Now, I also signed up for the AOSH Hot Topics, which technically is not a part of Midwinter, but it's on that Thursday during Midwinter, and it's in the same area. So I'll plan on doing that all day Thursday. And then I believe they have a reception Thursday night that I would really like to attend. And then Friday will be spent mostly recording, maybe walking around the floor on Friday. And then Saturday again, recording in the morning probably, and at least walking around and seeing some of the exhibit hall. If you haven't been before, Midwinter is a great show to go to if you just want to look around and see all the different products. Historically, I believe it was one of the shows that everyone went to, the manufacturers went to showcase the new products that they've been working on over the year, and they're going to launch them. And so there's, again, historically, there were show specials and things like that. But I think COVID kind of changed that a little bit. Last year, I didn't really see as many launches as I had seen in previous years. So hopefully this year, it'll get back to a little bit more normal. The other thing I really like about Chicago Midwinter is they have amazing CE, and it's very affordable for hygienists. I like it because the way that they do their pricing is, it's not dynamic, but it's your dentists that are not ADA members have to pay like $650 or something like that. But then your dentists who are members of the ADA, they pay like $150. And then if you're a member of the Chicago Dental Society, which is the host of the show, then I think you enter for free. But regardless of what the dentists have to pay for, all of the hygienist assistants, lab techs, everyone else pays, I think it's $65. So what a great steal, because they have all of these amazing speakers coming from all over the world, absolute world-class speakers, and we get to have that at $65. So I think it's a really good deal, especially if you're in that area. I think you should try and go. If you have time, go ahead and look up their speaker lineup. and you'll see how many amazing options you have. There's also a really good networking conference. And then in March, there's also a conference called the Hinman. I'm not really sure if I'll be making it this year, but it's a good show. It's in Atlanta. But the next one that I have signed up for, I actually just signed up just this morning, was for Manal's CE at the Beach. And that's going to be in July. I'm not really into the marketing side of things. I think that there's a lot of things that I can learn. It's definitely something that I'm trying to get more into. I'm trying to understand that side of it. Even if it isn't something that I'll end up doing, I want to make sure that I understand what other people are doing. So that's kind of my reason of going for that one. It's just a great opportunity to learn new things. And then the week after that, of course, is RDH Under One Roof, and I will absolutely be going to that. You're going to hear more about this in the coming episodes, so I'm not going to really hit it hard too much right now. But RDH Under One Roof, by far, as you all know, the best hygiene conference that exists. And so make sure you put that on your calendar. That's going to be in July. I believe it's like July 20th to the 22nd, maybe. And then after that one, it'll be several months more of a break. And then Greater New York, of course, in November. I think this year, I may or may not attend some of the smaller conferences or the meetings. I'm really trying to kind of pare down how many things that I've been attending. It's always been great. I've really enjoyed it. But, I just want to try and go to the ones that I love, that I know that my friends will be there and that have great learning opportunities. In other 2023 news, I know that many of you have been asking me about the mission trip that I was trying to put together for the Philippines. And honestly, it's just taken a huge backseat. Everything else that's been going on has been so crazy. And when I was there in April, I did a little bit of scouting. When I was doing the scouting, I come to find out it was harder than I thought to organize this kind of an event. And I don't know why I thought it was going to be so easy, but a little bit arrogant of me, I guess. But so, TBD on that one. I think there's also just so many changes that happened for me in my personal life in 2022 with, job changes and things like that, that it just never had time to come back up and get on my radar for, hey, this needs attention. So as I settle into my new role a little bit more in 2023, I'm expecting that will probably resurface again. In puppy news, some of you have seen the new ATOF mascots on social media. They are a breed called a blackmouth cur, and they are absolutely adorable. They're just the cutest little things. Their names are Otis and Hudson, and I don't think that we actually put their name like who's who. But if you look at them, Otis is the lighter of the two, and Hudson is the more red of the two. They are just the absolute bestest pups. They're very fast learners. They're very obedient, especially for being little tiny pups, and they are growing so dang fast. When we got them, I think they're about 5 pounds, 5 to 7 pounds each. And now just a few months later, they're more than 25 pounds. And we're not really sure how big they're going to get. I think their dad was, I believe he was 100 pounds. But I don't think that these ones are going to get that big. But they have the longest, lankiest little legs and these huge old paws. So they'll probably be over 60 pounds. But secretly hoping they're not going to be 100 pounders, but we'll see. And kind of sad news, but also not really sad news, is that Hudson will be heading over to my parents' house in Washington in February. So the brothers are going to be split up. It's going to be the first time that they've been split up. And I was really sad about it for a really long time. But then, I just started thinking, it's like, if my parents didn't want to take on Hudson, the boys would have been split up a long time ago. So instead, I'd rather look at it as what an opportunity they've had to build that bond of being brothers. And also for me, it's been really good because they tire each other out. They play around, they do all these things. And I think that it has helped them not be like me, be antisocial. I think that they're a lot more social. So because of it. So, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of sad, but also they're, Hudson is going to go to my parents' house and they have, lots of room to run. They have acres and acres and there's woods and there's, squirrels to chase and bunnies to chase and all sorts of different things that he'll just have the time of his life. So I only mention that because, in the social media post, it's probably likely going to go to Otis more, unless my parents, of course, send me some pictures that we can post of the updates of Hudson. And then kind of the last topic I just want to talk about is, podcast updates and podcast news, which, if you're over the podcast updates and news, go ahead and turn this one off right now. But if you want to hear what's happening, just stick around for another couple minutes. We've retooled and reformatted some of our newsletters. And the idea behind that one is I wanted more variety. I wanted each month to not just kind of have a static post of, hey, this is, you always know what's going to happen. Hey, here's the CE that's expiring. We kind of were it was purposeful, but we were kind of in a rut. And so what I wanted to try and do is give you at least one newsletter each month that highlighted some things that are happening in your world. And sometimes it's going to be dentistry. I think, we're in dentistry, so of course a lot of it's going to be dentistry, but sometimes it's not, and one of the ones from this past month was we talked a little bit about cryptocurrency and, the scandals that have been happening and things like that. And so I wanted to give you some talking points that you could have with your patients or with your doctors or assistants or whoever's in the office with you. Because if you think about how that appointment goes, not everyone that's in your chair is going to want to hear about dentistry. They're not going to want to hear about, brushing and flossing technique. And they're not going to want to hear about the newest gadgets and gizmos that we have in dentistry to make everyone's life better. They aren't. And so you have to relate to them on whatever level they're in. So that's kind of the idea behind that newsletter, is to give you some talking points that come from different sources that you also might not see in your news feeds or your social media accounts. Some things that I've kind of went on a little bit of a deep search for some of these things. So anyways, I hope that you are going to enjoy those ones. So if you wanted to sign up for that, you can head over to our website, ataleoftwohygienists.com. There will be a little pop-up that says sign up for our newsletter, and that's how you do it. And then just from a personal standpoint for the podcast, I will be coming on board with Endeavor Business Media full-time starting in January. So the last 3 months, I've been an independent contractor with them. And I'm really stoked about coming on full-time with them. As far as my role goes, I will still be working with all the cool dental people, of course, but I will also be working with the podcasting division, so to speak, across all of the brands under the Endeavor umbrella. So it shouldn't really change the format of this show at all. I have a great year planned for us with some new voices, some new ideas, but also, bringing back the voices and thoughts that we all need, that we need refreshers on, that we need, that reminder. So I don't think too much is going to change with the podcast. It's going to be the same thing that you know and love, but there will be some other things, moving pieces behind the scenes, which I'm really excited for. And I appreciate that you are excited for me. So thank you all very much. Sincerely, you all showed up for me this past year. You were here for the podcast, and I promise, I'm going to return the sentiment as always in 2023. I'm going to bring you the things that I know will help you as individuals. I will help you with your career, and we'll bring on some of the most amazing people that we can find in dentistry and maybe outside of dentistry. So with that, have a safe and happy new year, and I will talk to you next week.
Yeah, this is a tale, oh yeah, a tale of two hygienists. So there might be only one, bringing the best of dental knowledge, and we do it all with ease. We cover oral health and screening, and preventing gum disease. We're gonna do a lot of learning, and have a little bit of fun working at the dentist. A tale of two hygienists.